Are you finding yourself playing Habi's Arturo Chapter 16 Archaic Temple with this constant outcome? In this video walkthrough guide, I'm going to show you all the bosses through the final boss to dominate this new patched in chapter in the July update. I will share all my tips and tricks to take you from zero to hero, coming up. What's up guys, it's your boy Gazda back at it again like a thief let out of jail, itching for another heist with yet another entry in my Arturo series. This time tackling Habi's newest challenge, Chapter 16 Archaic Temple. It was a real doozy to complete even with my maxed out gear, proving you're gonna need some on point reactions and RNG luck to tackle this beast. But I'm here to help you with the strategies for what is in your control. Here's how we're going to break down this behemoth of a video. Here's timestamps to the left and clickable in the description down below to jump to specific sections. First, I'm going to give an overview of the stage and the mobs you'll encounter. The good news is, there is no new ones to worry about, at least as far as my runs were concerned. Secondly, I will go over the bosses in as much detail as possible and highlight their attack patterns. Thirdly, we will go over what heroes make the most sense for this chapter. Then I will cover what gear level I think you'll need to be at to stand a fighting chance. Finally, stick around to the end where I will show my gear and stats and runes and talents that I had that allowed me to clear it. Spoiler, it's not as gear dependent as you may think. More on that at the end in my conclusion. Before we begin, if this is our first time meeting, I'm Gazda, and this is my Arturo series where I make videos like this providing tips, tricks, strategies and more 2-3 times per week while keeping it fresh and fun. So if that wets your whistle, I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel and ring that notification bell to never miss my next upload. And while you're at it, smash like and share the video with your friends as it helps me against Susan Wojcicki's YouTube algorithm. Help a struggling channel like me buy some bread, boys! Now, let's begin. I'm going to be pretty frank with you all. This chapter is hard. Just about everything has to go right for you to pull a win out of this, and this was another crescendo proving that gear can only take you so far. I got some pretty close near misses and had some on point RNG that really sealed the victory for me. I'm proud I got this win in the first batch before they nerfed the chapter, which is inevitable they will, and I'm gonna help you score that win before they do too. Like I said earlier, there are no new mobs, but there is everything you have seen so far and in huge numbers. Without a doubt, the first room is the hardest because you quickly realize that all the mobs have health as high as mobs in Chapter 15 and they are coming en masse, while you have no abilities yet. The key is to use what I'm dubbing as strategic leading without boxing yourself in. Yes, stutter step when possible to do so, but not at jeopardy of getting hit. But create a mental path of how you can lead the enemies through the room while stopping to whittle them down without getting yourself cornered and getting your shit packed in. Here's a demonstration. As you can see, I bait them around the map while trying not to get cornered. Get used to this strategy because you're going to have to employ it throughout the chapter, as some rooms can get absolutely nuts with all the projectiles flying everywhere. Now, let's talk mobs. You got the sandworms from Chapter 15 with their splitting firebomb. You got high health brown and black wolves. You got the super aggressive mummies that can clear the room with a jump and want to pound you into the ground from Chapter 15 as well. You got bats. Jeez, do you have bats. You got the summoners from Chapter 13 that launch little meteors as well as big ones. You have the summoners that launch a laser beam too. Watch out for this one. Basically, the only enemy you won't encounter here are unique laser towers from Chapter 12. Everything else, expect to see them. That is why you have to read the room. Make a path in your mind, stutter step when possible, and whittle them down. In order to give you the biggest chance of success, you're going to have to adjust your playstyle, and in my run, you're seeing what I mean. Crowd control is essential for success, and so you are going to want abilities that enable you to achieve that. Here's my tier list chart for this chapter. Multi-shot and front arrow are clutch as usual, but I would argue even more so Ricochet. If I didn't pick that up so quickly as I did, I don't think this would have been a winning run and I would still be grinding it. Invincibility shield is a must if you pick it up, and yes, even the orbs can come in handy because, as you are seeing, these rooms are packed full of enemies, and any damaging abilities you can wrangle that hurt multiple mobs you are going to want to pick up and prioritize. The easiest way to lose, no matter how good your skill is not clearing a wave before the next spawns, and then that wave expiring into a new wave and getting so overwhelmed with no space to dodge that you die. I don't care how skilled you are at this game. Give the room enough enemies, and with how cheap this game can sometimes be, you will end up dead. So counter this. Make it your goal to pick up the abilities you usually want that are good for area of effect damage, AoE. On top of that, you want to also be aiming for abilities like Blaze, an attack boost, and Rage that give you more attack power to thin the ranks. Let's talk about the bosses now, shall we? You have 4, 1 every 5 rooms. The first and last are set and are the only new enemies you will encounter. The ones for rooms 10 and 15 can swap. The first boss is a crab boss. Now, there are murmurs he will be what is nerfed in the next update because one of his attacks, the spin, seems to have an extremely large hitbox that is just unfair. The good news is, if you have freeze or an interrupting ability, this move can be interrupted and save you from the damage. His second ability is a bubble barrage with varying sizes in the projectiles. His third ability is a bubble wave that has a giant bubble surrounded by several other little bubbles that spin. Strategy that worked for me on him was utilizing the long room and giving as much space between us as possible so that I could potentially stop his spin and or avoid it. Otherwise, small movements against his bubble barrage to avoid getting whacked and slipping in the holes for the bubble wave. He's a very hard boss, and I would argue harder than the second and third, so if you can get past him, you can definitely get to the final boss. The second boss for me was Double Golems. Not Rock God Golems from Chapter 15, but Legionnaire Golem from Chapter 6 and Knight Golem from Chapter 14. That's why I'm dubbing them anyway. The Legionnaire Golem boss throws 5 rocks and also summons little golems who throw 3 rocks. He spins occasionally, but it doesn't spit rocks. The Knight Golem boss is the same from Chapter 14 in the pair, or Chapter 4 Crystal Mines. He spins and shoots rocks randomly and throws rocks that burst into smaller rocks. So here's the strategy. Again, utilize the long room, stay back. You don't even want to see them on your screen as I'm demonstrating. Thankfully, the game doesn't need to either. So hopefully you have that clutch ricochet and can blast them from a distance and only dodge and move as they get close to you and you have to. They shouldn't provide much difficulty otherwise. Okay, then you have the dual summoner bosses. Honestly, they were super easy. I even got the devil from not taking damage, surprisingly. No new moves, but again, keep your distance at the back of the room and only dodge when the summoner's homing projectiles get close. This is like the 4th time in the game you've encountered this boss at this point. Now it's just 2 of them, but it shouldn't prove too difficult. Now, the final boss. It's a brand new boss, and boy does it have a lot of fun attacks. It summons shadow clones of itself and shoots streams of fire that covers the room. It shoots a Star of David shaped flame blast that also coats the room. It follows you around and shoots a small burst of flame. It's a lot of fire, so the biggest mistake you can make is meeting it in the middle of the room. Utilize the corners and only leave them when he summons his shadow clones and run for cover that isn't obstructed by flame. He has a lot of health, so you're going to have a trigger finger to move, but also be very patient. You can see it got greedy at the end and wanted victory and just decided to smash him. It was very risky and I was relying on my Rage and Fury at low health plus Blaze to finish him before he roasted me. I don't recommend that, especially since I already died as you saw, so it was my final stand. Play smarter and more conservative. Whew! You did it! And as you can see, here's all my skills I picked up in the chapter and what helped me earn the win. Let's move on to heroes I recommend for this chapter. As you saw earlier, I played a bit with Shade, but won ultimately with Sylvan. So out of the 2 paid heroes, I'm going to give the edge to Sylvan for you to use, and here's why. Yes, Shade's critical strikes can be awesome, but remember, I stated the importance of crowd control and Sylvan has that built in with his elemental arrows. Couple that with the fact it removes those abilities from play, which increases your likelihood of rolling Ricochet or Multi-Shot, which you will seriously need here. So out of the paid heroes, I choose Sylvan all the way. Now, for those who don't have the paid heroes, who should you pick out of the trio? I would say Ayana would serve you well the most. Why? Well, her stats are good, but the portals can help get you out of binds you will find yourself in with the crazy over-the-top rooms, and staying alive and having escape routes are going to push you to a win. If you don't have Ayana, and it's between Helix or Meowgic, who do I recommend? With the sheer amount of enemies in the room and with how crowded the rooms get, I think I give the slight edge to Meowgic because his Spirit Kitty damage can come in handy, and Helix, you might be too dead to get value out of his rage. Meowgic's ability helps pump up that AoE, and that is really useful. Speaking of all these heroes, check out my comparisons between them and Ayana in this card right here after you're done watching this video if you want to get the meat and potatoes on them with my analysis plus community thoughts. Alright, you have all been good loyal watchers if you made it to this point. Gear level I recommend, if you have to know, is Perfect Epic. As much Perfect Epic gear as you can obtain. That's the purple with gold border, by the way. You're gonna need that higher damage output to knock out the waves before they knock you out. Okay, so let's show the gear and such I had that got me the win. Even with this gear, I really believe I got a lot of dumb luck with perfect RNG and lucky dodges, proving again, skill will always deliver that win because I was dying left and right. So keep grinding at it and you will win. I hope all this information helped you, and if it did, consider subscribing and ringing that bell for my future content and sharing with your other Arturo buds so they can benefit and win too. I got a question today for you now. Do you think with the new Battle Pass spoiler showing intense rewards like 100 Obsidian keys, we are on the verge of an incoming update with a new rarity of gear? Why or why not? Let me know down below and how you feel about that idea of something higher than Ancient Legendary. Look Dad, we are on the end screen! If you can't get enough of my content like a hungover drunk binging on all you can eat IHOP pancakes and you love guides, I got my ultimate Sapphire guide video I just recently made to the left if you're needing Sapphire to beef up your heroes. Or dive into whatever secret video YouTube is recommending below that. As always, I'm your host, Gazda, and I will see you for the next one.